and turn us over. So Islamic terrorism is just an end-time tool that the enemy is using to propagate Islamic world dominance. And because they know that terrorist bombing can create fear, and Islam, since its inception, was started by fear. You don't accept, we chop off your head. So people choose to follow Islam out of fear. And since they have succeeded in knowing that terrorist bombings and things like that can create an atmosphere of fear, and their agendas and enterprise can thrive during times like that, they are going to use it to the best of their ability. But one consolation that I want to leave with you all, even before we begin to ask you a few questions. The coming of our Lord is at hand. I was going through some of the chapters in the book of Ezekiel. Everything that is being prophesied in scriptures is being played out right in front of our eyes, like watching a movie. There is a gathering both in the realms of the spirit, and there is a physical gathering too. And that gathering is being organized from the pit of hell by Satan himself against the church and against the Jews. So I will appeal to you, if you are a Christian and you are not serious with your Christianity, it's time to get serious. And if you are serious already, keep it up. Run the race. Save as much as you can. And I will join your pastor to appeal to you, those of you who have opportunities to speak to your congressmen, your senators, things like that. Let them know this truth. Islam is not interested in Western democracy. They are not interested in tall buildings or civilization and things like that. They have just one goal: to dominate the world through this religion. And I know and I know and I know in my heart of heart that the trumpet is going to blow very, very soon. Amen. By me even coming here is a marked sign to me and my people back home that God is going to call His church out. But one thing we have to do as a body together, we are not going to rapture alone. We want to take as much people as we can with us in heaven. So I'll stop here. I thank you all for listening to me. And I know you have questions. Oh, okay.
Let's go ahead, Sam.
Pastor Jeremiah. Oh, Jeremiah.
My name is Robert, and I'm Lebanese. I know Islam a little bit.
Yes.
You touched on two things. The last one was love.
Yes.
And the Lord tells us, do not do evil for evil, but overcome evil with love. In the Quran, can you tell these people, is there any word of love in the Quran?
One thing I want to say, looking at the basics of the Quran teaches love, but not the kind of love that is being taught in the Bible.
Amen. And this,
go ahead. Yeah, I'm doing
the second part is, I've always been interested. I've known that Muhammad had some Christian influence.
Yes.
I'm not quite sure how to find it, what kind of influence he had, but you mentioned two.
Yeah.
The first one was the prior to going up.
Khadija's uncle, whose name was Waraka, was a Roman Catholic.
Was Muhammad in the Roman Catholic monastery?
Well, no, he was never in a monastery. You know, by the 4th and 5th century, Roman Catholicism was not only in Europe, but was also in Saudi Arabia. And because of the backwardness of the culture of the people, it does not have at that time a very strong hold on them as it did on Europe. But yes, indeed, there were Arabs that were Roman Catholics.
the other part, when he went into Medina,
Yes.
who was the Christian that has influenced him?
On his way to Medina, there's a place called Abyssinia.
Abyssinia?
Yes. It was the very king of Abyssinia that gave him refuge on his way to Medina while he was fleeing from Mecca at that time.
But that was the only influence. He had no Christian understanding.
Well, he had, mind you, the Islam says that the Bible has been corrupted by the West. That the only good part of the Bible is the Torah, meaning the Old Testament. And Muhammad was exposed, possibly by Waraka, into some stories of the Old Testament. That is why by reading the Quran, you have some semblance of the Old Testament, but it has been perverted, just like I said, by removing Isaac as the promisee and bringing in Ishmael as the promisee.
Thank you.
Yes.
Okay. Hey, could you explain to us the influence of Iraq and America going into Iraq, if that had any influence on Africa at all?
It was definite because before the U.S. went into not only Iraq, Afghanistan, and later Iraq, there was a proliferation of Islamic dominance in particularly West Africa, where I came from. And before 9/11, mosques were being built all over my country, Sierra Leone. Of course, the money was coming through Pakistani and Bangladeshi peacekeepers who came from Muslim countries. And at the end of the war, we came to know that most of the money that came into Sierra Leone to build mosques and things like that actually came from some of the terrorist organizations like Hamas and things like that. That is why if you follow up world politics, the former leader who was a rebel leader too of Liberia, a country neighboring Sierra Leone, is right now facing war crimes charges in The Hague at the International Court of Justice because of his involvement in rebel wars in West Africa, and also in his involvement of taking Sierra Leonean diamonds, trading them with Al-Qaeda for weapons to fear those conflicts. When the West went into Afghanistan and to Iraq, we saw, I don't know how to put it actually in English, but I will say most of those things stopped. There was a drastic decrease of building mosques. There was a drastic decrease of money being pumped into West Africa. Why? Because when they were being engaged in their countries of origin, they were busy with the troops there. So there was no way money was flowing in again. But actually that made in just 1 year, nearly 4,000 mosques were built in my country.
How about in the United States?
Well, you know the statistics.